In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, a shadow fell over the holy city. Nebuchadnezzar, the mighty king of Babylon, came against Jerusalem and besieged it. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand, along with some of the vessels of the house of God. These he carried to the land of Shinar, to the house of his God. Among the captives were young men from the royal family and nobility of Judah, youths without blemish, handsome, skillful in all wisdom, endowed with knowledge, understanding, learning, and competent to stand in the king's palace. Among them were Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. The king commanded Ashpenaz, his chief eunuch, to teach them the literature and language of the Chaldeans. The king assigned them a daily portion of the food that the king ate and of the wine that he drank. They were to be educated for 3 years, and at the end of that time, they were to stand before the king. The chief eunuch gave them new Babylonian names. Daniel he called Belteshazzar, Hananiah he called Shadrach, Mishael he called Meshach, and Azariah he called Abednego. But Daniel resolved that he would not defile himself with the king's food or with the wine that he drank. It was food likely offered to idols, prepared in ways forbidden by God's law. This was his first test in a foreign land, a test of loyalty to his God. He spoke respectfully to the chief eunuch. "Please, test your servants for 10 days. Let us be given vegetables to eat and water to drink. Then let our appearance and the appearance of the youths who eat the king's food be observed by you, and deal with your servants according to what you see." The official, though fearful, agreed, and at the end of 10 days their appearance was better, and they were fatter in flesh than all the youths who ate the king's food. So the steward took away their food and the wine they were to drink, and gave them vegetables. As for these 4 youths, God gave them learning and skill in all literature and wisdom, and Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. At the end of the time, the chief eunuch brought them in before Nebuchadnezzar, and the king spoke with them, and among all of them none was found like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Therefore they stood before the king. And in every matter of wisdom and understanding about which the king inquired of them, he found them 10 times better than all the magicians and enchanters that were in all his kingdom. But the king's favor was as volatile as his temper. In the 2nd year of his reign, Nebuchadnezzar had dreams that troubled his spirit, and his sleep left him. He roared, "Summon the magicians, the enchanters, the sorcerers, and the Chaldeans to tell me my dreams." The wise men were terrified. One spoke, "O king, live forever. Tell your servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation." But the king replied angrily, "The word from me is firm. If you do not make known to me the dream and its interpretation, you shall be torn limb from limb, and your houses shall be laid in ruins. But if you show the dream and its interpretation, you shall receive from me gifts and rewards and great honor." Another pleaded desperately, "Let the king tell his servants the dream, and we will show its interpretation." Nebuchadnezzar grew furious. "I know you are trying to gain time. No one on earth can show what the king asks. If you do not tell me the dream, there is but one sentence for you." The decree was harsh. The king commanded that all the wise men of Babylon be destroyed. When Arioch, the captain of the king's guard, came for Daniel and his companions, Daniel responded with prudence and discretion, and asking calmly, "Why is the decree of the king so urgent?" Arioch explained. Daniel then went in and requested the king to appoint him a time that he might show the interpretation. Daniel went to his house and made the matter known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions, and told them to seek mercy from the God of heaven concerning this mystery, so that they might not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Then the mystery was revealed to Daniel in a night vision. Daniel praised God, saying, "Blessed be the name of God forever and ever, to whom belong wisdom and might. He reveals deep and hidden things. He knows what is in the darkness, and the light dwells with him. To you, O God of my fathers, I give thanks and praise." Then Daniel was brought before the king. Nebuchadnezzar asked, "Are you able to make known to me the dream that I have seen and its interpretation?" Daniel answered humbly but confidently, "No wise men, enchanters, magicians, or astrologers can show to the king the mystery that the king has asked, but there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries. He has made known to King Nebuchadnezzar what will be in the latter days. You saw, O king, a great image. This image, mighty and of exceeding brightness, stood before you, and its appearance was frightening. The head of this image was of fine gold, its chest and arms of silver, its middle and thighs of bronze, its legs of iron, its feet partly of iron and partly of clay. As you looked, a stone was cut out by no human hand, and it struck the image on its feet of iron and clay and broke them in pieces. Then the iron, the clay, the bronze, the silver, and the gold all together were broken in pieces and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away so that not a trace of them could be found. But the stone that struck the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. This was the dream. Now we will tell the king its interpretation. You, O king, the King of kings, to whom the God of heaven has given the kingdom, the power, and the might, and the glory. You are the head of gold. After you shall arise another kingdom inferior to you, and yet a third kingdom of bronze, which shall rule over all the earth. And there shall be a fourth kingdom, strong as iron. And as you saw the feet and toes, partly of potter's clay and partly of iron, it shall be a divided kingdom. And in the days of those kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that shall never be destroyed, nor shall the kingdom be left to another people. It shall break in pieces all these kingdoms and bring them to an end, and it shall stand forever. Hearing this, Nebuchadnezzar fell on his face before Daniel, declaring, Truly, your God is God of gods and Lord of kings, and a revealer of mysteries, for you have been able to reveal this mystery. The king gave Daniel high honors and many great gifts, and made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon and chief prefect over all the wise men. At Daniel's request, the king appointed Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affairs of the province of Babylon. But Daniel remained at the king's court. Yet the king's humility was short-lived. Pride swelled in Nebuchadnezzar's heart. He made an image of gold, 90 feet high, and set it up on the plain of Dura. Then he commanded peoples, nations, and languages that when they heard the sound of the horn, pipe, lyre, trigon, harp, bagpipe, and every kind of music, they were to fall down and worship the golden image. And whoever did not fall down and worship should immediately be cast into a burning fiery furnace. But Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego refused. They would bow only to the one true God. Jealous Chaldean officials saw their opportunity and accused them before a furious Nebuchadnezzar. The king demanded, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you do not serve my gods or worship the golden image I have set up? If you do not worship, you shall immediately be cast into a burning fiery furnace. And what God is there who can deliver you out of my hands? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied firmly, O Nebuchadnezzar, we have no need to answer you in this matter. If this be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of your hand, O king. But if not, be it known to you, O king, that we will not serve your gods or worship the golden image that you have set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in furious rage, commanded that the furnace be heated 7 times more than usual. Mighty men from his army bound Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and cast them into the furnace. The flames leaped out and killed the men who threw them in. But Nebuchadnezzar looked into the furnace and was astonished. He exclaimed, Did we not cast 3 men bound into the fire? His counselors confirmed, True, O king. He continued, amazed, But I see 4 men unbound, walking in the midst of the fire, and they are not hurt. And the appearance of the 4th is like a son of the gods. Nebuchadnezzar approached the furnace door and called, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out and come here. They walked out of the furnace completely unharmed, not a hair singed, clothes untouched, no smell of fire. The satraps, the prefects, the governors, and the king's counselors gathered together and saw that the fire had not had any power over the bodies of those men. Nebuchadnezzar blessed their God. Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and delivered his servants, who trusted in him. Therefore, I make a decree. Any people, nation, or language that speaks anything against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be torn limb from limb, for there is no other God who is able to rescue in this way. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. Years passed. Nebuchadnezzar himself was humbled by God, driven mad for a time until he acknowledged God's sovereignty. Babylon continued, but empires rise and fall according to God's plan. Daniel, faithful through changing times, received profound visions from God, glimpses into the future. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel saw a vision of 4 great beasts rising from the sea. These beasts represented mighty kingdoms that would dominate the world stage. A lion with eagle's wings, like Babylon. A ravenous bear representing the Medo-Persian Empire. A swift leopard with 4 heads, pointing to Greece under Alexander and its division. And a 4th, terrifying beast, different from all the others, representing an empire of unprecedented power and ruthlessness. Rome, and powers arising from it. But Daniel saw beyond the turmoil of earthly empires. He saw the Ancient of Days take his throne, judgment being passed, and the boastful horn destroyed. And he saw one like a son of man, coming with the clouds of heaven. To him was given dominion and glory, and a kingdom that all peoples, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom one that shall not be destroyed. God revealed to Daniel that though kingdoms rise and fall, God's own kingdom will ultimately prevail. Decades later, Nebuchadnezzar's grandson, Belshazzar, reigned in Babylon. Forgetting the lessons his grandfather learned, Belshazzar held a great feast, drinking wine from the sacred vessels plundered from God's temple in Jerusalem, praising idols of gold, silver, bronze, iron, wood, and stone. Immediately, the fingers of a human hand appeared and wrote on the plaster of the wall of the king's palace. The king watched the hand as it wrote. Then the king's color changed, and his thoughts alarmed him. His limbs gave way, and his knees knocked together. He called for his wise men, but none could read the writing or make known its interpretation. Then the queen mother remembered Daniel, known for his spirit of the holy gods, his insight, intelligence, and wisdom. Daniel, now an old man, dignified and unafraid, stood before the terrified Belshazzar. The king offered rewards. If you can read the writing and make known to me its interpretation, you shall be clothed with purple and have a chain of gold around your neck, and shall be the 3rd ruler in the kingdom. Daniel rejected the reward sternly. Let your gifts be for yourself, and give your rewards to another. Nevertheless, I will read the writing to the king and make known to him the interpretation. O king, the Most High God gave Nebuchadnezzar your father kingship. But when his heart was lifted up and his spirit hardened in pride, he was brought down, until he knew that the Most High God rules the kingdom of mankind. But you, his son Belshazzar, have not humbled your heart. You have lifted yourself up against the Lord of heaven. And this is the writing that was inscribed: Mene, Mene, Tekel, Upharsin. This is the interpretation. Mene, God has numbered the days of your kingdom and brought it to an end. Tekel, you have been weighed in the balances and found wanting. Peres, Upharsin, your kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. That very night Belshazzar the Chaldean king was killed, and Darius the Mede received the kingdom. Babylon had fallen, just as God foretold. Under the new Medo-Persian rule, Daniel's wisdom and integrity shone brightly. King Darius appointed 120 satraps, and over them 3 high officials, of whom Daniel was one. Daniel so distinguished himself that the king planned to set him over the whole kingdom. But this provoked intense jealousy among the other officials. They sought grounds for complaint against Daniel in connection with the kingdom, but they could find none. He was faithful, and no error or fault was found in him. One said schemingly, "We shall not find any ground for complaint against this Daniel unless we find it in connection with the law of his God." So they devised a wicked plan. They persuaded King Darius to establish an ordinance that whoever makes petition to any god or man for 30 days, except to the king, shall be cast into the den of lions. Flattered and unaware of their true motive, the king signed the document, making it an irrevocable law of the Medes and Persians. Now when Daniel knew that the document had been signed, he went to his house where he had windows in his upper chamber open toward Jerusalem. He got down on his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his God, as he had done previously. He would not compromise his faithfulness, even under threat of death. The conspirators watched, then hurried to the king, reminding him of the decree and accusing Daniel. Then the king, when he heard these words, was much distressed and set his mind to deliver Daniel. He labored till the going down of the sun to rescue him. But the men insisted, "Know, O king, that it is a law of the Medes and Persians that no injunction or ordinance that the king establishes can be changed." So Daniel was led solemnly to the lion's den. Darius spoke to him with sorrowful hope. "May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you." Daniel was cast into the den. A large stone was rolled over the entrance and sealed with the king's signet. The king went to his palace and spent the night fasting. No diversions were brought to him. and sleep fled from him. Then at break of day, the king arose and went in haste to the den of lions. As he came near to the den where Daniel was, he cried out in a tone of anguish, "O Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you serve continually, been able to deliver you from the lions?" Then Daniel's voice, calm and clear, came from the den, "O king, live forever. My God sent his angel and shut the lions' mouths, and they have not harmed me, because I was found blameless before him, and also before you, O king, I have done no harm." Then the king was exceedingly glad. Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no kind of harm was found on him, because he had trusted in his God. And the king commanded, and those men who had maliciously accused Daniel were brought and cast into the den of lions, they and their children and their wives. And before they reached the bottom of the den, the lions overpowered them and broke all their bones in pieces. Then King Darius wrote to all the peoples, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, "Peace be multiplied to you. I make a decree that in all my royal dominion people are to tremble and fear before the God of Daniel. For he is the living God, enduring forever. His kingdom shall never be destroyed, and his dominion shall be to the end. He delivers and rescues. He works signs and wonders in heaven and on earth. He who has saved Daniel from the power of the lions." So this Daniel prospered during the reign of Darius and the reign of Cyrus the Persian. Throughout a long life, marked by exile, danger, and the rise and fall of mighty empires, Daniel remained steadfast. From his youthful resolve in Babylon to his final breath, his story is a testament to unwavering faith. He faced kings and lions, decoded mysteries and prophecies, always pointing not to himself, but to the power and sovereignty of the one true God. Daniel's life echoes through the centuries, inspiring courage in the face of persecution, faithfulness amidst compromise, and hope in God's ultimate victory. It reminds us that even in the darkest of times, those who trust and honor God will never be truly forsaken. His protection is real, his wisdom prevails, and his kingdom endures forever.
Shalom, brothers and sisters. Did you know we have an online store? It's called theroyalremnant.com. We have a variety of clothing and home decor items. Explore our sweatshirts. We have a few different designs and multiple color options. Or navigate to our home decor section and check out our candle designs. We have candles that read Shalom and some that read All Praises to the Most High. If you don't see something you love at the moment, sign up for our email list to learn of new items. Grab your free Bible story coloring pages, and your email will be added to our list. Thank you for your support. It encourages us to keep making content and merchandise to boldly share our faith. Shalom.